This is week 10, right? Yeah, week
Yes,
10
sir.
of our road to 272. We are past the halfway point now. Um, we've basically got all the teams figured out at this point where we're all going 100%, I believe. So,
Yeah, I struggled with about 3 to 4 games this week because it's just because not that you know who the good teams are and you know who the real trash teams are. It's the teams that are right in the middle there that maybe like the Colts that switched up their quarterback or it's like Jekyll and Hyde. Which team are we going to get this week? But for the most part, I feel pretty good about this week's picks.
there are so many teams like that this year, though, where you're like, look at Cincinnati, where Cincinnati was just so awful, and then they just completely blow them out last week. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard. I feel like this week was a little bit friendlier with the lines than what last week was.
hmm No, I agree. There's a couple odd ones, and there's a couple that are just. I mean, again, it's kind of the Vegas knows thing, but it's right on that teetering half point on if I would take it one way or another.
Yep, yep. So before we get started, obviously, Pulse of the Heartland stuff here. Look us up on Twitter, Instagram. We need to start doing a little more Instagram stuff. I haven't posted on there for a long time.
I don't
So
even post to my own, so that one
yeah,
I'll never rely on you guys. So
yeah. So yeah, just check out our Twitters and Instagram. Again, we're part of In the Zone now. They're kicking stuff up. Actually, this week there's a couple of really good written articles on the website too. Some good power rankings on there. So take a look at that. Monday we'll be getting Dylan on there, giving him an interview, see what he has to say about this whole thing, and I guess before we get to Monday tomorrow, don't forget to tune in Thursday night to the College Football Pod. They're hosted by Mr. Brian over to my right
right.
shoulder here.
Yes, sir. I would say talk about a little bit of everything, mostly Big 12 and Big 10, and kind of what we're experts at. But hell, I mean, we have Don who joins in with who talks about a lot of random lines for games that I haven't even thought of, and it turns to be a blast. So yeah, definitely tune in same time tomorrow at 8:30.
Yes, and welcome, Dave. It is just Brian and I tonight. I think I don't remember for sure, but I think Clark has bowling on Wednesdays, and I guess Rivers joining us too. Joey's unable to due to work, and Trent, who knows what he's doing? Who has a clue? I'll be
Damn priorities. What the hell is this?
Yeah, right. 1 second here.
No problem, man. But yeah, no, I would say it's definitely if you can, I would say we're gonna try and I'm gonna at least try and write a couple articles for this in the zone.
Yeah.
I just got to find what I'm passionate about and get it submitted over. But yeah, it should be fun to kind of expand our horizons and honestly keep bringing in a larger audience too.
I know he hired a social media coordinator too. That's
Mhm.
done, and he hired a web developer too. So we should really, in the near future. Oh my gosh, my dog came in like a wrecking ball, and he left the door open, and now he's trying to bed on
He's
our sheets over here. So this
he's
is
going all
just
over the place.
1 second here. 1 sec.
No problem, man. No, but I was going to say so far in the year here, I would say we're about 10 weeks in, and just because Trent will love it, we'll go through the rankings here on who's at the top. Right now, Trent's leading us. He is 80 and 55 so far. I'm in second right now at 75 and 59. Clarkson third with 73 and 62. Joey's at 69 and 65, and then Ryan is at 59 and 75. So
Yeah,
I
I
would say we're
quit.
still uh, but the interesting part is if you're because you've been doing spreads all year like me, or if it's a money line like positive. I know I've taken a couple at least,
Yeah, a couple
um,
underdogs.
but I bet you I would say it would be interesting to do the quick math there if at your record if you're even money because you almost double it when you win or where you're at. But I bet you're still up technically.
I think I'm a little down, but I'm
Mhm,
not. I'm not bad. Like I'm not bad at all. So especially with where I bet the how much money I bet,
mhm.
it definitely varies between each game. But the games that I definitely feel better on, I bet a little more
Mhm.
than the ones. But yeah, I'm not doing bad. I'm just
How much are you wagering? Because I'm only doing $5 a pop
the
on the ones that I have put in.
The minimum is 220, so I'll bet 220 on the games that I don't feel good on.
Okay.
$2.20, excuse me, because like the minus 110 will. I think you have to have a winning of $2. I think that's the
Mhm.
rule. So yeah, with a minus 110 bet, I'll do $2.20, and then if I feel good about it, I'll do like $5 if it's one of my favorite bets.
Mhm. I would say mine right now. I was because I just kind of got curious about it. I was doing it because all of mine are. I mean, they're like 90% minus 110. There's the occasional minus 120, but I also got some
Yeah.
minus 105s in positives here. If you were to put $5 on every bet like I have this year on my record right now, you'd be up $421. So I was
Yeah.
telling you guys earlier in the week, God, really regret because I've kind of been doing it for just fun because like who knows over a season what I'd be down, and now I'm like shit, I'd be up a shit ton if I would have just had confidence in myself, you know.
Yep. I need to pay attention to the money line underdogs that I've been doing because I think I've been doing really well on those when I've selected them. I should look back and see what my record is on those.
Yeah, on our pick 'em, you should just every underdog that you've picked, as you've been doing outstanding so far this year. Just put money on every single one of those.
Yeah, really. Yeah, really. Well, all right. Should we get to the first game here? The
Yeah, well,
Thursday.
we'll kind of power through it since it's just us two. But I would say we got everyone else's picks in here, so we'll run through those as well.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, the first game for Thursday night, it's Atlanta at Carolina. We've Atlanta 2.5 point favorites, total 42.5.
Yeah.
I I took I apparently took the Atlanta minus 2.6.
Oh, two
Me
point
my
six. Interesting spread pick there.
yeah, I bought that point one, so yeah, Atlanta minus 2.5. Carolina just absolutely got murdered last week. Just absolutely terrible. Um, and Atlanta's still looking good. And Cordero Patterson came back and played pretty strong. I think they're a pretty solid team still. So, yeah, I'm going with Carolina.
Well, and I'm the one thing I kind of just threw in Atlanta minus 2.5. I'm not too confident in this one because they also have that hurricane weather kind of coming through as well. It sounds like tomorrow. Um, I don't think I'm going to switch it to the under. It's there. It's honestly, it's a flip either way with those teams on which one you're going to get. I guess right now we're going to have to keep riding Atlanta. I think what are they? 9 games. I think they're 7-2 against the spread so far this year. I
Yeah.
think, or I'm sorry, 6-3 because they started 6-0. So I
Have
right
they
now,
really not covered the last three? They pushed last week, didn't they?
no. That well, I guess the final odds were plus 2.5.
Okay.
We got it at -3 early in the week, but yeah, I mean 6-0, then missed two against the spread, and then a push or loss depending on when you got the line.
Okay.
So, and I would say one interesting thing that they brought up is because they only played a couple weeks ago. Remember the excuse me, Atlanta only won that game by 3 because DJ Moore got called on taking his helmet off when he was
Mm,
actually off the field. So
yeah, that's right.
I don't know. On the road at Panthers, it's just is this PJ Walker going to be able to keep going? You know.
I feel like now that they've got tape on him, I think it's probably going to be pretty tough. But
Yeah.
I'm wondering how long. I hope they stick with him. He's kind of fun to watch, but I wonder how long his leash is if they're going to be thinking Baker again at some point.
I don't know, man, but I would say if I mean at this point, if you're Baker, what do you where do you go from here? Because you just went to another team and they replaced you with an XFL quarterback.
Yeah,
Do you become a journeyman? Try to be that Chase Daniel quality backup? I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I don't even know if he's that though. Just from how he's got
Well,
the name.
yeah, exactly. I think he's got a big enough name. He's going to sign somewhere like Gardner Minshew. Isn't he the backup for Philly? I mean, a
Yeah,
big enough name and has had enough of a enough games underneath his belt. He should be able to at least get a job next year.
yeah. I think you're right. So Joey took Atlanta spread, obviously.
Yep.
Clark and Trent are going against each other. Trent has the over 42.5, and Clark's got the under. So
If I had to lean, I'm thinking under just with the weather that's coming in. But I mean, Who knows, to be honest.
No, I'm probably with you on that one actually, but we could be wrong. All right, next game, Seattle at Tampa Bay. Seattle. This is a confusing one to me. Tampa Bay 3-point favorites. Total 44.5. Bryant, what do you have on this one?
I got Seattle +3. That might have been one of my easiest ones. Right now, I mean, Seattle has been playing the best. I mean, of these two, they've been playing kind of lights out. But I don't know how the Bucks are a favorite other than being at home. I think Seattle keeps running. I don't see where the Buccaneers have any advantage other than Tom Brady, and he hasn't been himself this year.
I mean, look at it this way. Last week it was them and the Rams, and it was basically just a crap fest. The Rams have looked like garbage this year. Seattle plays well every week. I feel like they're a very strong team. They're leading their division, 6-3 for gosh sakes. I've got Seattle +3. I don't know why Tampa is favored. Joey and Clark also took the +3. Trent with Tampa Bay covering. So actually, I think Clark took the money line. Clark did take Seattle money line, so he's got confidence that that Seattle's just going to outright win.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, if you think about it, if we are going to be making money on this thing, I mean, it's always good to have that nice little spread, those extra points here. But I mean, hell, at +130. You're getting a little over double your money, probably about 120% of it. So, I mean,
yep. I don't think that's a bad bet at all. I don't trust Tampa. I was surprised how many passes Brady threw that were great that got dropped there too. They've got great receivers and they have a drop problem too.
Mm-hmm. No, and again, I haven't watched many Bucks games other than the Chiefs. That's where I have no clue on how this Bucks team is a favorite right now.
Yeah. Okay, the next game, Jacksonville at Kansas City. Kansas City 9.5-point favorites, total 50.5. I'll let you take this game. It's your team.
I mean, shocker. Homer Bryant is going to take the Chiefs here. But I mean, again, it's a big spread. But I mean, the other thing is how many times in the last few weeks have been going, is Jacksonville actually good? I mean, it took a 17-point collapse from the Raiders last week in order for them to win last week by a touchdown. I mean, the other wins that the Jacksonville Jaguars have this year are to a Matt Ryan Colts, which so do the Chiefs, but it's also a Herbertless Chargers. So, I mean, they're 3 wins. A lot of stuff had to happen for them to get to 3 wins. So, I'm pretty confident that the Chiefs are going to cover that 9.5 with ease.
Well, the other 3 also went with Kansas City -9.5.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that number. I don't know why. Jacksonville just seems like a team. I have less confidence in Tennessee last week than I do Jacksonville this week. So I went with the under 50.5. Okay. That's just, to me, when you get into the 50s, that's a little high. I just don't trust Jacksonville to score. And even Kansas City, there's been a couple games where they've struggled to score too. So the main thing though is Jacksonville going to be able to put up enough points to go over 50? I just don't think so. So yeah, I took the under on that one.
I agree. Chiefs pass rush has been very good. Lawrence has been kind of which Lawrence are you going to get? Now the key is going to be if we can shut down Etienne for him to, if he can start getting loose, that's going to create a little less pressure on Lawrence in order to create something. I don't think it's going to happen this week versus the Chiefs, though.
No, and when I look at it, Lawrence is a better quarterback than Malik, but Henry didn't score that much against you guys. So if you can keep Henry out of the end zone, I think you can probably keep Etienne out of the end zone.
I agree.
All right, next game, Minnesota at Buffalo. This is an interesting game. This has gone from 9 points to 3. It's 3.5 now, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Buffalo 3.5-point favorites, total 43.5. I don't even know if that's changed in the last few hours that we've had this. I doubt it has, but
no, the line really hasn't changed too much. Now, this is one I think I'm going to start looking at these spreads come Monday night and lock a couple in that are just too good to be true. because I mean, I got this, and Dave actually asked a good question. If you're ever like listening to this or watching us, if you lock a line in, I put a bet in on Monday evening once we heard it was the UCL, and we don't know the extent of it. I mean, I got a bet where it was plus 6.5. I got that extra 3 points already built in. So my bet won't go up and down because I have the Vikings covering. I have the Vikings covering specifically 6.5.
Me too. I got it at 6.
Nice.
Yeah. That was the first thing I did when I heard there was a potential elbow injury with him. I'm like, okay, let's lock this in now.
Mm-hmm. Now, you're not going to like hearing this. I still think Case Keenum, and he got you to an NFC Championship game. I think he's going to be serviceable for them. But I think I think the Vikings are going to be able to at least compete enough to keep it within field goal.
So I've got 2 bets on this one actually. The 6 is kind of my secondary bet because I hate the spread. My main bet is the under. The weather there is supposed to be a high of 20 something. It's supposed to be windy and snowy. It's going to be a ground game. I don't foresee a ton of points scored that game. So I took the under. Was 40 under 46 is what I got it. So it's already dropped down to 43.5. I got the plus 6 and the under 46. So I feel really good about the value I've got earlier this week.
I would say I'm looking at it right now. The weather's predicted it's going to be 40 degrees. Like you said, it's going to be a little colder. But the gusts of 13 miles per hour going left to right on the field. So, I mean, any field goal, that's going to be affected quite a bit by a 13-mile-per-hour wind.
Did that change? Because earlier today they were saying snow.
I mean, there could be snow in there as well. Mine, I would say the app I use, Action Network, and all it has is just the direction of the wind on the field there.
No, that changed earlier today. It was supposed to be 20s with snow and wind, so it did get a better forecast. But yeah, I still don't. That's still cold and breezy.
That wind's going to affect kicks. I would say, and no offense, it's the Viking and kickers. I'm not feeling too good about that.
No offense taken there. Joey took Minnesota money line. So did Clark. So they feel like Minnesota can win it. Trent took Minnesota plus 3.5. It all depends on the Josh, if we get Josh Allen or Case Keenum. I think if it's Case, what did somebody say on the internet today? Case Keenum, when he was with the Vikings and the Minneapolis Miracle, he basically just had a giant horseshoe sticking out of his ass the whole time, getting lucky all year. And it's not wrong. He threw some terrible passes that thank you, Diggs and Thielen, for being super talented wide receivers because they bailed him out. And since that season, he's been to 3 different teams now. Yeah. So, he's a serviceable backup, but I don't think he'll be beating the Vikings if he's playing.
A serviceable backup, and he's getting paid to just ride the bench. I think he's completely fine with it at this point.
Oh yeah. And I love Case. He did a lot for Minnesota, but I don't see him beating us. What do you do if you're the coach, Brian? This is hypothetical. You're superstar quarterback who's everyone's MVP favorite and all that. Mm-hmm. He's got a sprained elbow. It's been confirmed he's got a sprained elbow. He's had UCL problems in the past. You're playing a non-conference opponent. Do you sit him a week and you've got him, you've got, I think, Detroit after, and you have some other team that's not that great the 3 weeks in. Do you sit him for at least a week and let him try to heal up, or do you just go with it?
I think you for sure at least sit this week, depending on how you look against the Vikings. I think then you kind of play it week to week. I would say for sure this game, even if it's the not the most serious injury, whatever, you take your one loss and you kind of ride on, because I think that defense the later in the year is going to help them quite a bit. And in this game too, if the money is in the quarterback, you don't want to fuck that up anymore.
Especially for that team.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember the Chiefs, was that 2 years ago? We had to we had a month without Mahomes because he got his ankle rolled. I mean, we had was that Matt Moore? That was the backup. I mean, at that point, it's just kind of adapt and survive. And if you can go 2-2, it sucks that you have 2 more losses, and the home field is going to be huge in these new playoffs here. But I think you'd rather go on the road with having a healthy Josh Allen than risk it and then maybe you get the 1 seed, but with Case Keenum leading you.
Well, and here's the crappy thing, though, here's the situation. You're leading the AFC East, but you've lost to the Bills. You've lost to Miami. You lose a game, you're tied with them, and you actually drop below them. That's an issue because you might miss out on a wild card. Really, to be honest, I mean, you might risk that issue. So, do you risk your superstar quarterback to potentially damage his elbow more, or do you say we need these wins and move on? That's why we're not paid the big bucks, I guess.
Yeah, I say no. I mean, even if this year is screwed, you don't jeopardize a decade in the future for this 1 year. You know, if Buffalo is who they are and they keep drafting as well as they do and they keep bringing in these players, they'll be back again next year if, God forbid, Josh Allen is out the rest of the year.
And they still have to play both those teams again this year. So they can make up those games, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So next game, Cleveland at Miami. Cleveland is 3.5-point dogs. Total is 48.5. I took the over 48.5. It's
solid
with Miami. I don't know why. I feel like I've put the over on them a couple times and they've burnt me, but I'm going to say there's going to be points scored.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling confident about that over as well. I just at this point, 3.5 points, Miami over, Cleveland. You got to look at it as well as a couple things. One, Miami is, I think, clearly the better team right now. Now, when Watson comes back, maybe they can compete a little bit more. But Tua is going to be, slinging the ball out. They're going to be running a lot of plays. I mean, there's multiple games this year where they've ran over 80, 90 plays. And think about this Cleveland team where how many times they are just crapping the bed. They're pulling a 2021 Minnesota Vikings where the end of a half they're completely just shitting the bed. There's no better way to say it. I mean, remember that Jets game where they allowed 2 touchdowns in the last 90 seconds? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the type of shit that can happen when your team's getting tired like that, and that's where Miami's kind of thriving. Okay, we might not get out to that early lead, but we're gonna just wear you down, and then then the second half is going to be a shootout, and you're going to have tired defenders out here, and we're going to run all over you or pass all over you at that point.
I'm changing my bet.
Oh, you can't do that.
I'm changing it. I'm changing it for something different here.
Okay, what are you changing it to?
We're gonna make a teaser. Okay. A same game teaser. Mm-hmm. Miami Dolphins plus 2.5.
Okay.
And then the over 42.5. So 6-point teaser to go to minus 120.
Really? That's only minus 120 compared to them covering 3.5 at minus 110. You're not losing that much more money for a much more reasonable bet at that point. So I would take that all day long.
I am changing my official bet. We are doing a same game teaser on this game.
All right. Is this the first parlay we've ever put in?
The first official teaser, man. I need to type this down. Do you have the other guys' bets up while I change this?
Yeah, no problem here. Say for the other 3 here, let me get the page pulled up. Joey for Miami, he has the Miami covering. He has Miami covering 3.5. And are we going to go 3-0? Yep, I would say they all had Miami minus 3.5. So I'm not too shocked at that. I mean, that I'm surprised that line isn't bigger. I know Browns can run the ball like none other. I don't know if they can keep up.
Yeah, I feel like Miami's just too good for Cleveland, to be honest. But
yep, I agree.
Oh, I lost your sound after that sneeze, Brian. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I literally hit mute. My computer's run so slow tonight. I hit mute, sneeze, and then it mutes me afterwards.
That's hilarious.
Insane.
That is funny. All right, so next game. If I win my teaser, so obviously I have to win 2 bets if I win my teaser. Do I get 2 in the standings?
No, you won the 1 total parlay. Sorry, sir. This is going to be a long climb back up.
Son of a gun. We're gonna do a 10-team parlay this week to catch up.
Come on, we're riding it all. Double or nothing.
Yeah. All right, next game: Houston at New York Giants. Giants are 5-point favorites, 4.5 point. Oh yeah, 5-point favorites. Total is 40.5. Go ahead and start this one.
Give me 1 second. My computer's freezing up here. I can't get to my
Okay.
page.
Oh, then I certainly can. Then
Yeah.
I got the Giants at -4.5 actually. So so yeah, I took that one. I don't know. Houston is Houston. I think there's so much talk. Right now there's a lot of talk about two teams. One is the Vikings. Are they a real 7-1 team? And then the Giants, are they real also? There's just a lot of questions on both of these teams. And I don't know. I feel like the Giants are at least better than Houston by 5 points.
Yeah, go ahead and go through the other picks, man. I can't get to my page right now.
Joey took the Giants money line. Clark took the Giants spread. And Trent also took the Giants spread. You want me to tell you yours?
Yeah, if you could pull it up. I don't know what my computer's doing here.
You got the over 40.5.
Over 40.5. I have some notes in there. Can you read them through? I apologize, man.
Yes.
I don't know what the hell's going on here.
No problem. The garbage Texans still put 17 on the Eagles. Biggest concern will be the Giants run the clock with Saquon.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. That's how I feel. I mean, Saquon's been doing amazing this year. This Texans team is just garbage, dude. I mean, but then they score 17 versus the Eagles. It really kind of depends.
There were a couple of games this week. Did Houston give kind of the blueprint on how to beat Philadelphia? I mean, can a better team than Houston follow what Houston did and beat Philadelphia? And then the Jets, did the Jets give the blueprints to beat the Bills too?
Yep. No, it'll be interesting, but I don't know. I can't remember if there's any garbage time touchdowns because we were recording at that point. But yeah, the Eagles have just been
there weren't because it was very close throughout until the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Is yours working now?
Yeah, I finally got it pulled up here for the New Orleans at Pittsburgh.
Yep. New Orleans at Pittsburgh. New Orleans 1.5-point favorites with a total of 40. Go ahead. I'm looking at something here.
I think I'm going to regret not having the point here, but I think I'm just going to take Pittsburgh money line, get slightly better odds here. I mean, not only are the Saints they're just not it this year. I mean, Andy Dalton's serviceable, but he's not leading them to any victories. Steelers are also getting TJ Watt back. Now, that's not going to instantly, they're the steel curtain again, but I think that's going to be enough to make Pittsburgh win just as well in these games with Mike Tomlin. I've kind of had these advanced analytics, this year, but I mean, Tomlin, when he's a home dog, he is 14-2-1 against the spread, and I think one of the two losses happened earlier this year. So I think I'm just going to go with Steelers straight up.
So Trent took New Orleans to cover. There's nothing New Orleans has shown me that they're a good team at the moment. Why? Obviously, Andy Dalton's not the answer, and he has had so many bad turnovers. Why are they playing Jameis? I don't understand why they're not playing Jameis.
Is he still injured?
I don't think so. I think he's been practicing.
That I couldn't tell you then. Maybe just in the system they feel more comfortable with Dalton, but I couldn't tell you why. But yeah, I mean, not only, I mean, because I believe the Steelers were on bye last week, right?
Sure.
I'm like 90% certain they were. I mean, having that bye week where you're going to focus on one team only with the Saints, with a young quarterback like Pickett, I mean, I think that's going to do a lot of good. Him, instead of the rushed 4-day week, basically, he's had 2 weeks just to prep for this one specific team.
Yeah. The rest of us actually took the under. I got it at under 41, but at under 40 I would still do. Yeah, like I said, New Orleans, first off, I looked at the weather. It's supposed to be chillier there too, with a little with some wind.
Mhm.
I think TJ Watt will help their defense step up significantly.
Yeah,
Is it enough for them to win? That I don't know, but I think it's enough to keep New Orleans from putting a lot of points up. And I just don't trust either team to put points up. So yeah, I took the under.
agreed. Like I said, 2 weeks for Kenny Pickett um to get prepped for it. But I mean, I think they said he was the first quarterback or rookie quarterback for the Steelers since Bradshaw to throw like seven, 8 interceptions in his first 4 games. So I mean, he's got a big curve to get around. But I think it's just literally putting all the confidence in TJ is going to make that big of a difference.
I think Kenny. I mean, he can somewhat remind you of Josh Allen a little bit. Josh Allen wasn't a world beater his first season either, but a big body guy that got his throwing up, and maybe Kenny can become that type of player.
Yep, I would say it's just going to be if is Pickens going to be enough for him, and I think they got that Deontay Johnson, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
All right, next game, Denver at Tennessee. Tennessee 2.5 point favorites. The total is 36.5. Holy crap, for an NFL game, 36.5. My gosh. I can start this one. I took the Tennessee minus 2.5. They
Okay.
just they I hate both of these teams. I just do,
Yep.
especially Denver. But it seems like, man, with Willis, I don't trust him. He didn't complete a single pass to a wide receiver last week, but
You
they
know who
still stayed in the game with Kansas City.
who also doesn't trust Malik Willis is his coach. I mean,
Yeah,
what was it? 16 passes, 5 completions for 80 yards. So I mean, when he makes
yeah.
a completion, they go far. But I mean, it's I have this my notes here is my official Big Ten game of the week here. I think Denver's defense still struggles, and Tennessee all Denver has to do is play the run, and I would say, and as for Tennessee, it's not like Russell Wilson is his old self. I mean, I I don't know, man. I'm not feeling good about taking the under 36. But if there's ever going to be a game where there's not going to be any points scored, it's that offense run by Russ so far this year, on top of a quarterback that we don't trust to pass the ball. They're going to run
That's
the ball a
exactly
lot.
right.
They're going to keep the clock moving. I think it's going to be one of those. I think it was Broncos Colts where it was 12-9. I think we're in. I think we're going to have another one of those games.
I don't. It doesn't look like Denver has that great of a rushing defense either. They're kind of middle of the pack, actually a little bit towards the end of middle of the pack. So I think Henry will still get his, but I don't know. This was one of the games that I really didn't like.
Yeah. Well, I call it my Big Ten game of the week because I also hate it. So it's a little bit of a jab at the Big Ten too.
Yeah, and I just can't. I don't trust putting money on Denver. So,
No,
um,
that,
let's see
it's a
here.
smart choice.
Yeah, Joey took Tennessee spread. Clark took Tennessee spread, and Trent also took Tennessee spread.
Whew, God, those guys must have had a little telephone conference before and just made all the same picks.
Yeah, I can't believe you took the under on that one though. That's
I'm telling you, man, I think there's going to be a lot of running. It's not like if Russ was just switch out Russ and Mahomes. If Russ could complete some passes and stop the clock a little bit, I just think with Tennessee, they're just going to keep running that damn ball, dude. And Derrick Henry will score. I just
yeah.
that is this game I will not tune in. I don't care if I'm even close to winning or
No.
losing this bet. I'm not even remotely going to turn that one on.
No. Why would you? Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather look at my wall right now and watch the paint that's dry to dry again than watch this fucking game. That's for
Spray a
sure.
little water on top and say, "Okay, we're gonna
Yeah,
watch this."
exactly.
All right, next game, Detroit at Chicago. The spread is 3. Chicago's 3-point favorites with a total of 48.5. I took the over. Basically, just take the over with Chicago at this point.
I oddly enough, as much as I was giving shit about Justin Fields and the Thursday night unders and stuff, I had both of those as well. I think I'm a little more confident with Chicago covering 3, but I also I think I'm going to put in 2 bets for the over 48.5. I mean, honestly, as much as Detroit should be the feel good, and I like them a little bit more than the Bears right now. Dan Campbell is 0-11 on the road. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
is if they're going to win a game, it would have been on the road if they would have played the first half Bears. I think right now they finally got their swagger back, and they with Chase Claypool, I think they're going to start airing it out at this point.
Yeah, and I mean he won NFC Player of the Week, Offensive Player of the Week.
Yep.
So he's got some confidence. He didn't do it by passing. He did it by running. I think he broke the record for single game rushing by a quarterback. He broke Michael Vick's record, which thank God that was against the Vikings. So thank you, Fields, for
God,
doing that.
I remember that game. I'm not even a Vikings fan. Just watching those highlights was insane.
He was a cheat code back in the day. Now it seems like all quarterbacks coming out are like him. But man, back in the day, there was just nothing like that.
No, he was incredible. Obviously, unfortunately, a lot of off the field stuff held him back. But no, well, at least the Bears got it figured out. I would say it's always kind of boring when the same teams, it's the same cliches every year, just shitty offense, So I don't know. Hopefully, they can keep putting it together.
Yeah. The other guys all took Chicago covering.
Yeah. So this is one of those, and again, until Matt Campbell proves he can win on the road, I'm just gonna. That was one bet I saw like 3 weeks ago, and just stuck in my head. Like, how can you only win at home?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, they don't get many wins in the first place, but for it to be specifically at home,
yeah. Also, it has to be above a certain temperature as well. I mean, I guarantee there's a lot of stats like that.
That's why they got that dome, man.
Yep.
All right, next game. This game, I do not understand this line at all. Dallas at Green Bay. Dallas 4.5-point favorites with a total of 43. Why is Green Bay only 4.5 points? I don't understand that. I took Dallas easily. Like this was probably my easiest pick of the week, to be honest.
I would say I look for analytics, and again, it was kind of like last week. This line seemed a little too good. Maybe Vegas knows something about the Packers, but I mean, it just I've slowly started to say, I know you Vikings fans have always hated Aaron Rodgers for what he's done to you, but it's funny seeing like Aaron Rodgers went from, hey, this likable, sometimes a little quirky, a little dry humor guy, to okay, the last couple of years is a little more irritable and a little more angry old man or grumpy old men type, and then now it's like people despise the guy now. Like I just listened to a quick 2-minute segment on, I think it was Around the Horn, and man, they just hate him now because he's just a bit of an asshole to the media and stuff. But regardless of all that, I don't know how Dallas with Dak Prescott, that's just getting better towards the end of the year. I don't know how it's only 4.5. I took that was probably my second or third easiest pick of the week.
We all have Dallas covering.
Great. That definitely means they won't fuck it up. That's for sure.
Their best. What was Gary? Was he a linebacker for Green Bay? Rashad Gary? Rashad Gary, whatever. I think he was their best linebacker, I believe. He's out on IR. He tore his ACL this last game. I believe Dobbs and who's the other? Is it Watson?
I'll get it pulled up here. That Watson's actually pretty serviceable, that receiver for him.
They're both out. They're both going to be out. Aaron Jones, he was kind of limited this week. I believe he's playing, but he's hurt too. So they have no wide receivers. Their defense that isn't good is hurt now. They lost potentially their best player. I just do not see how this is only a 4.5-point game.
Home field advantage is about the only thing I can think of, and somewhat of a primetime game. I mean, temperature, it's going to be 36, a little overcast, 10-mile-per-hour wind. Maybe that's what they're considering. Honestly, maybe they're thinking because Dallas always plays in a dome, being outside in those elements is going to affect them enough.
Maybe. I don't know, but I You know what's funny is you mentioned the Aaron Rodgers thing. Like I had always just despised him, mainly because he has always gotten the calls. Like he will cry to the ref and he'll get the call. It just pisses
Mhm.
me off. He has always been arrogant. And then the last couple of years, he's been doing the Pat McAfee Tuesday thing, and he's become more. To me, he's become a little more likable. You get to know the guy a little bit. It's interesting listening to him. I enjoyed him as a Jeopardy host. Even I thought he should have been the permanent Jeopardy host. To be honest with you,
Mhm.
and then this year there's some issues, and he just goes back to being a prick. And it's just like, dude, this is why everyone hated you in the first place.
Yeah. No, it's weird. I would say I never really liked him, when because he would just beat my team all the time. But like throughout the years, it's like, well, at least he's NFC. Don't have to deal with him until potentially the Super Bowl. But yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, it's just I don't know. I think he had like some little smart ass comment this last week where he's talking about how he's still the MVP. He's just not throwing as many touchdowns this year, and it's like, well, you are still Aaron Rodgers. You still have it in the tank, but are you able to bring everyone around you if you're going to have kind of that curmudgeon attitude?
Yeah. Well, and then losing to Detroit, we shouldn't be losing to that team. Well, you are that team now. Sorry, dude.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, how many times the last few years has Detroit been leading, should have won the game, and
Mhm.
then they pissed it down their leg? So, I mean, it was just inevitable. I mean, it was. I don't know how it's been this long since Detroit has finally beat them now.
I remember a couple of years back, I'm sitting in Milwaukee at a bar. I'm in Milwaukee for some training. I'm sitting at a bar watching the game, and the Lions are ahead. They should be winning, and what happens? Nope. The refs decide to get involved, and the game ends up going to Green Bay in the end. Like it,
Mhm.
and it's just like, oh my gosh, Aaron Rodgers does it again. He pulls off a miracle, and it's like, no, it was the refs. Like it just was. Dave
Yeah,
Dave missed State Farm Aaron Rodgers.
I
Discount double
agree.
check.
I would say his little off-field antics probably is why we've seen less of his commercials this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of hard to market a guy with ayahuasca and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and his free thinking. Yeah, that one's not going to fly when you're trying to be just a PC insurance company. So,
Mm-hmm. Well, and you know how he has the Aaron Rodgers book club on McAfee.
oh, I thought you could do discount double check.
Yeah, no, he's got the Aaron Rodgers book club, and he always had like kind of in-depth books and stuff like that. Every
Mhm.
book this year is basically let's take shrooms and see the positivity of shrooms and stuff like that. It's just like, dude, you're not really connecting with people anymore, with the normal
Let's
person,
be
the
zen
usual
and one
person.
with the earth.
Yeah, that's about it.
Let's beat some
But
808 drums and let's just feel, dude. Let's just vibe. You know?
Matthew McConaughey over
Yep.
here, basically. All right, next game, Indianapolis at Las Vegas. Las Vegas 6-point favorites with a total of 42 and a half. I have no freaking clue what's going on in Indy. I have I had to ask you guys on Monday who Jeff Saturday is because I have heard that name so much. I don't know. I apparently didn't pay attention to Indianapolis back in the day, but I have heard that name so much off the field where I thought
Mhm.
he was like a motivational speaker or something like that. I
Yeah.
honestly had no clue. So I don't know what this team's going to do. Brian, what do you think?
So I would say honestly, if you're ever looking for a cool moment with Jeff Saturday, again, he was Peyton Manning's center the whole time. There's a couple cool videos. I'd recommend looking up just Jeff Saturday Peyton Manning argument on the sideline because that's how two professionals and two competitors are supposed to act. They yell at each other back and forth. Peyton Manning tells him, "I'm the fucking quarterback. I'll call the play." And then guess what? I think they went on to win the game. So it was kind of cool seeing two professionals in the heat of the moment just vent their frustration and then their teammates afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But there was also a moment where he played in the Pro Bowl. I'd look up both those. I'm just going to keep riding this stat. I have Las Vegas covering 3.5 in the first half here. Colts are 0-9 so far this year in covering the spread. I know they have a new quarterback, or I'm sorry, a new coach. But guess what? That coach went 3-7 at coaching high school level. So I
God.
I honestly, the analogy I feel like with this game is the stoppable force of the Raiders meets the movable object of the Colts. I mean, this is just two lame teams This is another one I'll not watch. You're starting to notice a trend of me hating on the AFC West teams, and it's because right now 2 of them are just
so garbage.
Yeah,
they're garbage. We're on your side here.
Yeah, this was supposed to be the division of quarterbacks. God, we might all be 500 because we're all so good. Well, the cream rose to the top, and then the Broncos and Raiders are at the bottom.
McDaniels has to be one of the worst head coaches ever, huh?
I don't know what he's going to keep getting gigs, man. I mean, he does just enough.
And Carr's not a bad quarterback. He's an average quarterback, but he's not a bad quarterback. And then you have Adams. How are you guys doing what you're doing? I mean, and they're blowing games too. They should be winning more games.
Between 1960 and 2021, they had 5 games where they blew a 17-point lead. So far this year, they've had 3 of those games. I mean, they are. I mean, I wouldn't even say they shit the bed. They've shit the bed repeatedly, and they just stopped watching the covers afterwards. I don't know how you keep doing that, man. You're either playing to not lose the game, and then you're losing. But my God, I've said this how many times? They just need to play like they're playing the Chiefs every week, and that aggressive attitude with throwing it deep to Devonta, and they would be better than what they are right now. But they're just, I can see them. That's why I took the first half. I think the Raiders will get an early lead, and then they might just shit the bed in the second half again. I can't trust them at the end of games.
I should do what you do. I am taking Las Vegas to cover the 6. I should do the first half because you're completely right about that.
Yeah.
But
it's super fun. You don't have to worry about garbage time, dude.
Yeah, that's true. I might switch it up. I would still take the minus. Shit, I've already bet the -6. I'll stick to the -6. They don't. Frank Reich was an actual NFL head coach. Like he has experience. I don't trust them hiring a not very good high school football coach.
I think honestly, they're just trying to bring in a former pro, like a pro's pro, trying to bring him in and just get them to be a team. They've got the coordinators around to make the decisions on play calling. They just need someone to get that team together, which I thought Frank Reich the last few years could have done that, but I guess they decided different.
So I think it must have been on McAfee they were talking. Apparently Irsay went around and tried to figure out what they can do to fix the offensive line, because apparently they're having some offensive line problems.
Yep.
And apparently he asked around the building, nobody really had an answer. He's friends with Jeff Saturday and called him up and said, "Hey, what do you think, brother? What do you think we can do to fix the offensive line out?" And apparently he had an answer, because in the next day he was hired on as their new head coach, their interim head coach. So I don't know. I don't trust their quarter. Ellinger hasn't shown me to be an NFL quarterback either.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. That if that is how he came about the job, because nobody in the building could give you an answer. That explains Monday. I was talking about they had 2 former head coaches on there. How could they not be serviceable enough to get you through the season? But if you're an head football coach and you can't give an answer on how to fix your line or anything, dear God, I mean, that's terrible. I guess that's why they're ex-head coaches, I guess.
Yeah. So, yeah, I took the -6. Joey apparently believes in Jeff because he took the Indianapolis money line.
A money line, okay.
This is the same guy that has Miami as the #1 team in the NFL, though. Let's not go too crazy.
I think he had a couple too many silver bullets on Monday when he was given that.
Clark took the under 42.5. I can see that. And Trent took the Las Vegas spread also. So Joey, good luck to you, buddy.
You know what? Good. We need some more of these games that are going to separate us a little bit.
That might make me catch up to him.
Where I can start picking up I need to get first place and beat Trent. I need something to chip away at. So,
next game, Arizona at the Rams. For me, both these teams kind of suck, but I think the Rams suck more. So I took Arizona. I got Arizona at +3. Actually, I think now it's at 1.
Yep.
But yes, I got Arizona at +3. Dude, the Rams just look terrible. It seems like Arizona can score points. I don't even think the Rams can score points. their play calling is try to get it to Cooper Cup. I saw Stafford was put in the concussion protocol today too. So
Okay,
yeah,
well, fuck, that changes a lot of what I was. Do we know if he's going to play?
that is a great question.
So he's just in protocol, but he could still pass and still play technically.
Technically, yes, but yeah, he was put in protocol today.
Well, shit. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna keep. I gotta keep my bet. I already have it. It's the ink is dried on this Excel spreadsheet. I had Los Angeles Rams covering one, and the big reason, not even just the players. McVay is 6-1-1 against the spread versus Kingsbury, and I've kind of alluded to it a few times. I know. I allow you to do the Kyler Murray hate. I do the Kingsbury hate. I don't know how he became a head coach with the
I hate
record that
both.
he had. Both. But I don't know how he became a head coach with his record over at Texas Tech. But I mean, whenever Kingsbury does fine versus your Urban Meyers and your coaches that are not good in the NFL, once he plays a coach that has some confidence and can make second half adjustments, he is god awful. And McVay is one of those coaches that is in the upper echelon, in my opinion. So I'm just going to go strictly on McVay still on the team. I know there's a lot of things else going against it, but I mean, if the Rams defense can shut Kyler down, then I think it's pretty easy. And Cooper Kupp is also going to go for 200 yards.
It depends on who. I don't even know who is their backup quarterback.
I'm gonna just yammer on, but I mean, surely they've got to have someone that is at least serviceable, especially with coming off of a Super Bowl year, though.
John Wolford.
Oh well, never mind. Prove me wrong, Jesus. That's
or Bryce Perkins. So,
oh my lord.
If Stafford's not playing, I don't see how Arizona doesn't win this game.
You know, I got to be different. Hold on. What did Trent have?
Trent had over 41.5, which that might be tough. Well, Arizona can score a lot of points. I don't know how much Wolford can score. Yeah, Trent had the over. Clark had the Arizona money line, and Joey also had the over.
Fuck it. I'm sorry. You changed one. I'm gonna change one. I'm gonna take the under. I got to pick up games on Trent somehow. And now that I know that Stafford's out, I'm gonna take the official under 42.
Well, we don't know if he's out yet, but yeah.
Well, if he's in concussion protocol, his brain ain't feeling too good. So I just got to pick the. What's that?
He was just put in it today. So how can you pass it in that quick of time?
Well, if the NFL needs him to play, they'll find a way to get through that protocol super quick. It's like the playoff committee when they got to get Ohio State in. They got to change the rules somehow to get them in the playoff.
Because I'm just thinking when Harrison Smith went got a concussion and then a week later he can't play, but how I don't know how you can go. It takes 14 days for some, but 3 days for another.
3 days for a superstar. If that's Mahomes, it's 3 days, and you feeling good, buddy? Slap on the ass, get out there.
If you're Tua, I mean, come on.
Oh no,
you can be laying dead on a field and come back 3 weeks later.
Brain was melted ice cream for a couple weeks, but he's good now. So
yeah, we're fine, guys. We can move on. And he only had one. He didn't have two.
Yeah. No, and surely there's no long-term effects to this thing. It's fine. 2 weeks later, he was fine. 20 years from now, we'll worry about that then.
Yeah, don't worry about that now.
Yeah.
Next game, LA Chargers at San Francisco. San Francisco. Oh, what a wuss, Joey. Jesus. San Francisco 7-point favorites, total 45.5. Guess what Joey took?
Well, yeah, Moneyline San Fran, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, again, they've kind of – I forget that they have all those pieces now, but the Chargers aren't – Chargers are so injury prone, but so is San Fran. So, I mean, I'll be honest, both these teams, it's so hard to keep up with who is playing, who isn't, who has a cast, who's on the IR. I just went I just had the under. Yeah, under 45 points. I can see either team winning. I mean – CMC, he's been amazing back. No offense, who knows what his health is going to be at the end of the game, man. He's got glass bones. So, I don't know. I'll take the under, and I can very easily see this being 35-31 with the San Fran's offense balling out and Herbert doing just the same.
I'm looking up this Chargers injury report here. Keenan Allen did not play. DeAndre Carter was full.
Mhm.
Khalil Mack did not play. Oh, he was a rest day. Mike Williams did not play, so they're still beat up. I mean, they don't have the weapons are beat up. I'm taking San Francisco to cover. I'm hearing how amazing San Francisco is now. I mean, for God's
Yeah.
sakes, they're 4-4 and they're above the Vikings on some power rankings. I do not get that. Power rankings, like I said, are basically college football standings, basically.
Yep.
But
With the
still,
playoffs. Yep.
you kidding me? So if they're this amazing that they're jumping them and the Giants and stuff, I'm gonna ride with the 49ers here at -7.
Yeah. I mean, again, I can see either way. I just don't think Herbert. He's good. I don't think he's to the level yet where he's going to elevate the players around him. He looked really good earlier this year with the Chiefs, but he had Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. He had all these pieces around him. Eckler. I mean, Eckler and him are trying to hold that offense together best they can, and both of them have still been injured this year. So
Yeah. Yeah, they're just beat up, and I think it's just not their season. I mean, they still have a good record, but I
mhm.
just don't think this is their season. Clark took the under, and Trent took the San Francisco -7.
I like it.
All right, so we are now to Monday Night Football. Washington at Philadelphia. Do you want to finish this off?
I felt pretty good last week with saying Washington was going to cover 3.5 versus the Vikings. Now I also knew that the referee was going to tackle one of your players, so I mean I know them very well.
Come on.
Um, I would say
Still pissed
I
off about it.
I think right now with Washington they're a lot tougher team than we expected on defense. Their offense is still very serviceable with Heineke in there. I think the Eagles are still good, but I mean, and there's not really a transitive power from week to week. But I mean, they only beat the Texans by 12. I mean, I think Washington's better than the Texans, and add into it, it's a divisional game. Washington has a little bit of hope here. I think they'll keep it within 10. I still think Philly wins a close one, but I would say that 11, it's the Bills Green Bay game all over again. That is just too many points for me to feel good.
I'm 100% with you. That's what I've got. I think Heineke makes that team a completely different team than Wentz does because
Yep.
he's not turning it over like Wentz does. I think he's a better runner. He's more squirrely.
Yep.
Um, that defense is looking great. I haven't heard when Chase Young is coming back, but it's got to be soon. I don't know if it's this week, but it's got to be soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're a tougher team than their record shows. If Heineke were starting from the beginning, I think they'd have a winning record. To be honest with you,
Yeah, they've lost some games that they shouldn't. I'm looking at everyone else. Clark has Washington covering 11. Trent has the total over 43.5, it looks like. And then Joey just has moneyline Philly. He's really putting his neck out there, I see.
oh Joey, we love you, bud. Yeah, I don't know. I thought this one was kind of an easy bet. It was one of those when I was making my spreadsheet that right away I made the box screen. I felt pretty good on that one right away.
Yep. No, that was definitely one. That was probably my third bet. I kind of go through the list before I even fill in ones, just like the gut feeling, and then I do a little research on my gut feeling afterwards to kind of enforce it. That was one of them. I was like 11 points after I just saw one of the worst teams in the league, Texans Davis Mills, almost cover. They covered 14.5. I,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I would say unless Eagles start putting up some style points and they're still pissed off because the field almost killed. Was it Jalen Hurts that almost got that they almost fell on because the stadium fell apart?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, maybe it's a revenge game for that, but I don't know. I think Washington keeps it close, dude.
I agree. What's your best bet for the week?
Best bet for the week. Honestly, just because right now it hasn't lost yet. Las Vegas first half 3.5 points in the first half. Um, actually, I should say right now Minnesota plus 6.5 because I got all those extra points. But I'll go with that first half one until it fails me.
Yeah, I feel very good about the Washington. covering.
A lot
That's
of
it.
points, but I mean, yeah, I mean the Eagles they've been dominant. I don't think they've had the Bills Tennessee dominant game just yet though.
No. Well, and I'm trying to think because I mean I guess they did dominate the Vikings, but boy, that was probably the worst game the Vikings could have played.
Lot
Um,
of weeks between now and then though.
yeah, yeah, they beat the Texans. Well, they killed the Steelers 35-13, but the Steelers are just they did beat the
Yeah,
Cowboys by 9, beat the Cardinals by only 3, Jaguars by 8, and killed they I guess they killed the Commanders first time they played, but I think it's a completely different team than what it was back then.
I mean that one had Carson Wentz, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that was back
Yeah,
in
so I mean,
September.
so the games where they actually killed a team, it was a Carson led Commanders. It was a Steelers team that's minus T.J. Watt and didn't know who their starting quarterback was. And what was the other blowout game?
Good question. I'll pull it up right here, right now. So he said
Yeah.
Steelers.
Yep.
Let's
Oh,
see
you
here.
mentioned Vikings. That's primetime Kirk Cousins though. That's a
Yeah.
little different.
And that was pre-chain Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Now that he's got all them chains on, Cut Kirk is what we'll call him now. Yeah, I mean, I feel fairly confident in that one as well.
Yeah, and that was literally the second game the Vikings played together too. So I mean it's been a long season already. I don't know. It's just so many points.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So sometimes you just feel like that way too many points, and this is one. So
Yeah, so I do that one and my official teaser, my Miami plus 2.5 over 42.5.
yeah, hell yeah, man. Put that remind. We're gonna have to put that one out on Sunday so that we can react to it in real time. The that I'm surprised that teaser is only minus 120, dude.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, really,
insane.
that's yeah. I would do a 2-game teaser too, to be honest. Take the over for that game and the over for the Detroit Chicago game.
I don't feel too good on that over, dude. I
Don't
mean,
you?
because both teams have garbage defenses and they can ball out, but we've also seen both of those teams completely shit the bed on offense too. So that one I'm like 75% confident that I can definitely see both teams where all of a sudden they're just inept on offense though.
Let me look at it here. Well, I mean, it's going to be basically the same thing. So if we tease it down, so they both have to cover 41.5. That's minus
Yeah.
140.
For over 41 and a half?
Yeah, if you tease it down to 42.5, it's minus 120.
That ain't bad.
No.
Well, maybe that's going to be your new thing, dude. Just putting in some teasers for alternate lines.
Yeah.
I like it.
Teaser Ryan. I'm a big teaser, guys.
He's a big old tease over there in South Dakota.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually what I do a lot in college games, and I do pretty damn good in college actually with that.
Yeah, start doing it in the NFL. I've been doing the spreads all year. I would say everyone else has. I like to do a few first half bets, something a little different that people aren't typically thinking about. You know,
All right.
yeah. I think you should just do teasers. Get like 2 or 3 of them a week.
All right. We'll start out with this one as our first official one, and then next week we'll try to get a couple more in there.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right. Well, that is all the games. So what do we have? Do we have 13 games?
Yes.
14 games.
Oh, 14 games. My bad.
So we have what four teams on bye this week. So
Yep.
there should be some exciting games. Vikings game, obviously. Kansas City, that's always going to be tough with Jacksonville.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Washington Philadelphia will be a good game. Actually, I really do.
Yeah, I think that one at least will be entertaining. I mean, hell, you know what's bad when we don't remember the Monday Night Football game because we'd rather just be sitting here talking, recording than watching the game because nothing happened that was interesting.
Yep, exactly. So, all right, everyone, thanks for tuning in on this week 10s. Like I said, follow us on our socials. Go follow In the Zone. Listen to our interview on Monday when it comes. But most importantly, tomorrow night, watch Bryant and the other guy. Doesn't sound like Clark will be on there. But I'm sure Trent will be. I'm not positive about Joey, but at least you and Trent should be tomorrow.
Yep. Well, there will be a lot of celebration for the Cyclones. We'll be bitching about the college football players. We always got something to complain about because even the Big 12 finally got some respect, but we're going to complain about how it took so damn long.
Rodney Dangerfield over here.
Yeah, right. This is actually the week of the one of like a trophy named after our podcast. Iowa plays Wisconsin. It's the Heartland Trophy.
Ooh.
So I would say maybe we'll come up with a little figure something out for a Postal Heartland Trophy for this week's game. I don't know.
Yeah, and take a look on the In the Zone website at the power rankings. We're going to start trying to implement the power rankings. An idea by Bryant himself over here, trying to get that stuff implemented into our Monday show, which I guess it's kind of a week late, but at the same time, it's still a discussion. So
yeah, I would say we'll get something figured out on that. But I don't think we've said the website yet. You want to give it to them real quick, and if for people that are curious.
Yes, it is inthezone.studio.
Yep.
So INTHEZONE.studio. You will also see our videos on there too. The newest ones get posted on there. And like we said, he hired a web developer, so that website will probably become a little more streamlined going forward too. But like I said, brand new and still an exciting situation going ahead here.
Yeah, and like we've mentioned, if you want to do freelance writing or anything, definitely hit them up. I would say because right now they're looking for writers, and I would say we have this weekly podcast, and some of us might be getting into writing. I know Joey mentioned for wrestling as well, but again, anything that piques your interest, there I would say there's get a hold of us or get a hold of them on the website, and they definitely will accept some freelance work as well.
I'm gonna do a weekly live golf article. And it's just going to be blood money is all it's going to be in the article.
I was just going to say ranking the atrocities of Saudi Arabia. Number 1. We're going to do top 10.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. We didn't even get to our politics show tonight. That's our next recording is the post the post midterm show. That's coming up next, guys.
Republicans are leading to 219 to 216. Democrats are going to need a late 3 to tie this thing up. Yeah,
we're gonna give our takes on South Dakota not passing weed. Give our takes on
yeah. We're really going to get into the nitty gritty. Joey's probably going to why the fuck Missouri didn't pass state gambling again.
Oh, it didn't.
Oh, I don't know if it was. I mean, there's probably something that he's.
I really want to look that up. It wasn't even on South Dakota, and it was supposed to be and it ended up getting taken off like 2 or 3 months in advance.
It sounds like a lot of the time with these sports, but it's like any other bill. They put that into a bill with a bunch of other garbage that they don't want to pass because that's the one popular thing. And then when it doesn't pass, they go, well, one side versus the other. It's very silly, but no, I would say I'm definitely excited for this new In the Zone and just like you said, another outlet for us to get our little creative side out other than videos and just really kind of expand from there. So
absolutely. All right. Well, good luck tomorrow night. Don't break a leg. Or break a leg. I don't really give a shit. I don't have to take care of you. So
I'd say unless I fall through this chair here, I think I'll be just fine. So
all right. Well, thanks for everyone tuning in.
Yep. Appreciate you guys.